Just imagine if a man had the power to bring anything from his dreams into the real world. That's exactly what happens in our story today. The story begins with a poor writer named Sang-yu. He had no money, no friends, and no parents. But his biggest problem was that he hadn't been able to sleep for the past 6 months, because every night in his dreams, a strange man showed up to kill him. In today's dream, Sang-yu found himself on a train when that same man appeared. The stranger attacked him, slammed his head onto the ground, and killed him. When Sang-yu woke up, he tried to get back to writing, but just then, his landlord came by. Since he couldn't pay the rent, Sang-yu had no choice but to escape through the window. He had already tried countless ways to get rid of these nightmares, but nothing ever worked. Later, he stopped at a food stall to eat an omelet. The shopkeeper, seeing his situation, took pity on him and gave him food for free. Not long after, Sang-yu saw a girl named Ray, a girl he really liked. She was beautiful, and on top of that, she could sing wonderfully, something that made him admire her even more. At the same time, his friend Tony arrived. As soon as Sang-yu saw him, he tried to run away, but Tony quickly caught him and dragged him into a restaurant. As they were eating, Tony began scolding him because he hadn't written the story on time. Sang-yu tried to explain that he couldn't sleep properly because of the strange dreams he kept having every day. But Tony bluntly told him, "I don't care. You'd better finish the story within 10 days, or I'll end your story myself." When the poor guy returned home, he found that his landlord had thrown out all his stuff. With nowhere else to go, he sat down in a cafe to write. But since he was starving, he couldn't focus and eventually dozed off. In his dream, the same man appeared again, choking him and slamming his head against the table. After dying in the dream, Sang-yu suddenly woke up, only to realize that even his laptop had been stolen. How much worse could things get for him? By now, his condition had gotten so bad that the poor guy couldn't even tell what was real and what was just a dream anymore. So he messaged Tony, saying that he wouldn't be able to give him any more scripts from today onward. He went up to the roof of the building across from Ray's cafe, and just when he was about to take a wrong step, the omelet man stopped him just in time and gave him some food. When Sang-yu explained his problem, the man told him, "Whenever you're in a dream, keep repeating to yourself, 'I am dreaming, I am dreaming.' Maybe that way you'll be able to wake up faster." Sang-yu stayed on the roof until night. Then he ended up selling his phone to buy some food. Later, he even tried stealing something from a shop, but there were security cameras everywhere. Finally, he sat outside and started eating, when suddenly, he saw Ray coming to help him. He couldn't believe his eyes, but then, in an instant, Ray transformed into that same strange man. He slammed Sang-yu hard against the glass, and in the real world, a shop girl thought Sang-yu was having a seizure. She immediately called for an ambulance. The fierce man stabbed Sang-yu in the stomach, but suddenly, Sang-yu grabbed the sword and kept repeating, "I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming." At that moment, his eyes snapped open. In truth, he had just slammed into the glass, but the sword hadn't pierced his stomach. In fact, the man's sword was now in Sang-yu's own hand. He quickly ran away and spent the whole night sitting in a park, staring at the sword. Sang-yu was now convinced this wasn't just a dream. The next day, he took the sword to the black market. Many people wanted to buy it, which made him realize it was definitely something very valuable. Eventually, he sold it at an antique shop for $20,000. With that money, Sang-yu bought a new laptop, enjoyed some good meals, and checked into a hotel. He even took sleeping pills, just waiting for the dream to begin again. And sure enough, the dream started right there in the hotel. He walked into the hall, picked up a flower pot, and said, "I'm dreaming." But this time, nothing happened. As soon as he stepped forward, a man suddenly attacked him with a golden axe. The man struck him with several heavy blows and injured him badly. But finally, Sang-yu managed to grab the axe and shouted, "I'm dreaming." In that moment, he woke up from the dream, holding the axe in his hand. To his surprise, there wasn't a single wound on his body. That's when he realized he had the power to bring anything from a dream into real life. He quickly sold the golden axe at the same shop, and with the money, he bought new clothes and even a brand new car. Soon, he began living a life full of luxury and pleasure. That night, before going to bed, he looked at a picture of a famous museum and then drifted off to sleep. His dream began right inside that very museum. Sang-yu was amazed to see so many priceless treasures around him. He waited nervously for that strange man to appear again. And just as he expected, the man returned, but this time, armed with a machine gun. Sang-yu ran for his life, trying to escape the rain of bullets, but he was soon shot and killed. The next second, his eyes snapped open. He had woken up, but this time he hadn't stolen anything. Determined, he swallowed another sleeping pill and went back into the dream. While dodging bullets again, he managed to snatch 2 precious artifacts and yelled, "I'm dreaming." Instantly, he woke up, still clutching them in his hands. This time, he sold the treasures to wealthy dealers and made $2 million. As soon as he came out of there, Tony attacked him, angry that he hadn't written his story even after taking the advance payment. But Sang-yu returned all the money and said he doesn't write stories anymore. Well, our guy had turned into Mr. Successful. Who needs story writing now, right? The next day, he met Ray at her cafe, but she didn't even recognize him. That's when Sang-yu found out that Ray was selling her cafe because she had suffered heavy losses. Later that night, Tony came to see Sang-yu again and asked him how he had suddenly become so rich overnight. He then took Sang-yu to a hotel room, and as soon as Sang-yu fell asleep, Tony started going through his wallet. But suddenly, Sang-yu came back from his dream holding a gold chain. Watching this, Tony was stunned. He begged, "Please let me stay with you. I'm broke and I really need money." After begging him for a while, Sang-yu finally agreed. The next day, Sang-yu bought Ray's cafe but asked her to keep running it. Ray was overjoyed by his help. From then on, Sang-yu began stealing from new places in his dreams, while Tony kept an eye on his body as he slept. While robbing a bank, Sang-yu started fighting with that strange man by using his powers. Now he could bring things into the real world just by looking at them, like a red car for example. After some time, Ray's cafe became packed with people, because Sang-yu would hand out money on the street and send people inside. He even gave a whole bag of money to a kind-hearted man who sold omelets. One day, during a conversation, Ray found out that Sang-yu was actually a writer. Sang-yu even gave his red car to Ray as a gift. That reminded him of the night he first saw Ray, when Ray had a fight with her boyfriend after a show. For a long time after that, Sang-yu secretly followed her into theaters. Eventually, Sang-yu took Ray to watch a movie with him, but Ray said she wanted to see a movie that was written by him. Not wanting his lie to be exposed, Sang-yu really sat down and wrote a story, which he later gave to Tony. When Tony read the story, his eyes filled with tears because it was so good. They spent their own money, hired big actors, and turned it into a movie. Later, Sang-yu took Ray to watch that film, which revealed his story. Even though he had written many stories, he never put his name on them, because he wanted to live freely and travel abroad like an ordinary man. One day, he saw a monk in a dream instead of that mysterious man. When he tried to grab the monk's belt, the monk used his black fingers to leave 2 marks on his chest. Then, all of a sudden, the treasure disappeared along with the monk. One night, he was about to confess the truth to Ray when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest and noticed the same 2 black marks appearing there. Frightened, he rushed home and tried to sleep. As soon as he drifted off, he found himself in front of an old, eerie building. On its balcony stood someone. When he went closer, he saw it was Sang-yu himself, slowly fading into thin air. The moment he opened his eyes, he noticed a new mark on his shoulder. Slowly, the mark began to form right where he had been wounded in the dream. The next morning, he went to ask the omelet man about this strange mystery. But before he could get there, he was suddenly kidnapped. A gang of goons had caught him, and their leader was a man named Kwang. Kwang agreed to release him only in exchange for $10 million. But when Tony showed up with the money, Kwang's men betrayed him and captured Tony along with the cash. With no other option left, he led the goons into his secret room where he had hidden all the stolen treasures. Seeing all this, Kwang grew greedy and demanded to know the secret behind his wealth. But then, Ray came to meet him. To save her life, Sang-yu said on the call, "I never want to see you again after today. Stay away from my house." Still, the guard let her in. Suddenly, one of the goons caught Ray and dragged her to Sang-yu. Ray fought back and attacked Kwang, and Tony used the chance to smash a goon with a flower pot, freeing Ray. But then, another goon stabbed Sang-yu in the back. Ray and Tony ran for their lives, but Sang-yu couldn't even walk. A goon stabbed him again, and this time Tony risked his own life to help Sang-yu escape. Sadly, the goons killed poor Tony. Meanwhile, a goon caught up with Sang-yu and Ray. Just as he was about to kill Ray, Sang-yu struck him from behind with his sword. Finally, both Ray and Sang-yu fainted. When Sang-yu opened his eyes, he found himself in a ruined place. In front of him stood a glowing door. As he touched it, flashes of his last few weeks appeared, both his real life and his dreams. He saw that an ambulance had carried him out of the shop that night. Then he saw a giant glass wall, and he began to break it. I'm dreaming, Sang-yu said, bleeding heavily. He lost too much blood, and finally, he fainted there. Suddenly, his body began to change, and he transformed into that strange man. A sword appeared in his hand, and he started smashing the wall with it. At the same time, he saw himself as that strange man, beating the landlord and Tony for the way they had treated him. Finally, when the wall broke, the strange man appeared in Sang-yu's room, where Sang-yu's body was slowly waking up. The man killed the goons one by one, and then turned toward Sang-yu. But Sang-yu said, I'm dreaming. At that moment, all the valuable things that had been stolen from his dreams began to vanish. He fainted again, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself sitting outside the same shop. Ray recognized him and offered him something to eat. She told him that she had read Sang-yu's stories and really liked them. Feeling pity for him, she gave him a job in her cafe. Hearing this, Sang-yu's eyes filled with tears. Then it was revealed that Ray already knew he had been following her all along. After some time, Ray gave him a laptop as a gift so he could get back to work. Then Sang-yu met Tony and tried to return his money, but Tony refused to take it. Instead, Tony gave him a big amount of money, because one of Sang-Yu's old stories had become really successful. A few days later, when Sang-Yu went to see the omelet man, the man showed him a mark on his stomach and told him that he too once had the same power. Just like Sang-Yu, he had eventually learned to find happiness in an ordinary life. But at that very moment, Sang-Yu also spotted the strange man he had been seeing in his dreams, the one who, in reality, had been following him all along. And that's where the story ends. If you had fun watching, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.